So let me do the demo here. So I've changed how I grade and kind of communicate the grading of problem set assessment. And I think the way the communication works has a potential to cause some confusion, at least at the beginning. So I think it's good for me to demonstrate. And it's going to be a two-part demo that I'll later kind of edit into one single video. And I'm still calling it two-part because in part one that I'll do this week right now, it's gonna be me as test student submitting problem set assessment, as test student. And the mistake I made with my other classes, I then immediately graded it in my instructor role. And I don't think that's quite representative of how the grading works for you, because usually I don't grade these until after the due date. And when that happens, there's a slight difference in the communication that I want to highlight in this demonstration video. So let me become a test student, and will I be able to get to problem set assessment? Let me see. It's possible I need to maybe excuse test student out of. So let me do problem set 1 assessment demo. So here I'm doing this as test student. I'm doing it kind of early because this is due February 16th. This is for my 14-week session, so I'm doing this February 13th, 3 days early. Some of you might have done it already. So I'm just gonna do it. I'll answer it as accurately as I can, not taking the shortcuts. This is one of the easier questions. Now, with the easier questions, sometimes I see people making this mistake. This is what I mean. So you select all the things you're supposed to select, and then you submit, and you think, you just collect stuff. There was nothing for you to, write down, so you think there shouldn't be any work to attach. I can see why you might think that, and you might do this, and then you can review work and grade the book. Now, as I grade, if I see something like this, I'm going to be deducting points. So according to the grading rubric here, if you don't attach a work, that's 3 out of 5. Like even if this is all fully correct. So especially for the simpler questions where you might be thinking, oh, it's so simple, I don't need to attach work. You still need to. And it might be just a couple sentence description of your thinking process. So you might say area A has length squared unit. So terms containing r squared or r times h work. V or volume V has a length cubed unit, so I'm looking for product of 3 length variables like d cubed or r squared times h, and I guess that's actually exhaustive. The rest have wrong units. So something like this, it can be even shorter. Really, the main requirement is that for all the problem set assessments, you need to attach work, even if it's a really simple description of what you did. If there's no work, there are points getting deducted. And first couple weeks, I guess for my 14-week session class, I will extend an invitation. If you want to correct it, attach work and let me know, then I'll regrade it. At some point, that invitation will go away because at some point, I think you had enough notice to know what you are supposed to be doing. And if you don't attach work, you'll just lose points, and I'm not going to go back and regrade it. First couple weeks, I'll extend that invitation. So this is the part 1 of the demo. When you have submitted this is how it should look. Oh, did I fix an issue? Yeah, okay, I fixed the issue. So problem set 1 assessment, even in weeks 1 and 2, they have different module requirement of mark done. And it's because of a new grade communication setting that I'm trying out, which is that the score is hidden from you. If I go to review work, it'll say grade is currently hidden by the teacher. So I'm only going to release the grade after I had a chance to manually grade it and put in my grading feedback. So and this hidden grade means Canvas right now thinks you didn't submit this because there's no score communication to Canvas at all. But because this says mark as done requirement, you can mark it as done. Then you can just move on to the next item without there being any score in the grade book for problem set 1 assessment yet, because there won't be a grade here until I had a chance to grade it. So problem set 1 assessment, Canvas right now thinks you didn't do it. Don't worry, your record of what you have done is here. Well, through Canvas in MyOpenMath, and if you want to check that you added the work, you can check. And so this is the part 1 of the demo. As you complete this assessment, you should mark it as done. Move on. So let me do the part 2 of the problem set 1 assessment demo. This will be edited together to be shared with all the future classes at the beginning of the semester, so that there's some clarity on this communication. So as a test student, I did a problem set assessment last week, due on time. And now after I have done that, it doesn't get reflected in the gradebook. This is because of a new setting I'm using in MyOpenMath, where the grade release for this problem set assessment, it's controlled manually. But the communication from Canvas is a little bit confusing, so that's why I want you to do this demo, so that I can clarify where the timing information is. So when I go here as test student, so if you go through gradebook, you're gonna see this, which is super confusing, but there is another link you can click. So you can go through modules. That's in fact what I recommend. But if you're somehow on this screen through gradebook, then you can click on this. I think they are called the breadcrumbs. If you click on this breadcrumb link, then you will actually go to the module version of it. Let me just refresh. So here I can see what I submitted. So even though Canvas doesn't have any score yet, it's all there. I can review work in gradebook, and right now it says it's hidden by the teacher because I made a point of not grading test student's attempt. So let me go into my own MyOpenMath account, and I will show you what the grading looks like. So I took care to grade everyone else's submission for that. So so normally when I grade, I actually go through here, problem set 1 assessment. I click on the gear icon, grades, then it'll show the grades, and I do the main grading there. But the process I'm going to show now is what I do for any late submissions. Those are a little bit more annoying to find, but I found out about this report function that made the process a lot easier for me. So, more reports. Here, there's an assessment to grade report. And there's a filter I can use. So under problem set assessments, that's the only item that I grade manually. And no feedback. Whenever I grade, I leave a feedback, and I'm looking for past due. If some of you already did the problem set 2 assessment, it won't show up here because it's not past due yet. So search. Hopefully only one name pops up. Yeah, test student. So let me grade the test student submission here, and I will show you what that looks like on the test student side. So what you will see on your own Canvas thing. I'm gonna go in, and I forget how exactly I did it. All that, and not been released yet. And there's a couple places where I can release it. All that. I think this all looks fine. So okay, so I'll say, all right, looks good. That's my kind of, I guess I put this maybe on about half the ones, probably more than half the ones that I grade. Sometimes the system auto grades as incorrect because, I don't know, there was some issue. But as I look at your work, I can figure out what the mistake was. Then I will tell you in the grading feedback. If there's something missing, like maybe you didn't put in work, then especially first couple of weeks, I might say something like, so 1, if there's no work, I'm gonna deduct the points. And I will say, if you attach work and notify me, I'm willing to regrade this item. So first few weeks, I might tell you that, then please attach work and notify me. Here, test student for once did everything correctly, so I don't have to do that. So as I save this, I'm going to release the grade to the student on save. So this link will get me to a place where I have to blur out stuff. So let me click on this link so that I'll stay on this page, and I can show you with the grade released Now up here it says grade has been released to the student. And it'll take a little bit of time for this to be communicated to Canvas. I think it might take up to a minute. So when I go back to Canvas and refresh now on this screen, it will actually show immediately because this is just the MyOpenMath system being loaded through Canvas. So as soon as this actually loads, when I go here, I can immediately see score in the gradebook instead, and yeah, and this is all MyOpenMath information. I don't think Canvas received the grading information yet, not quite yet. So if I go to gradebook right now, it probably won't tell me the grade that test student received yet. Let's see. Yeah, not quite yet. I'll just keep refreshing. I might edit these out if it takes too long. All right, grade communicated. So let me go back here and look at the problem set 1 assessment. So this is the confusion that I want to, I hope to preempt, anticipate with this video. So when you look at your problem set assessment in the gradebook, after it's been graded, it'll always say late. It's just gonna be that way. And it'll show you this time that you will recognize as that's not when you submitted. You submitted it, before the due date. You did it on time, many of you. So what I will tell you is that this time is when Canvas first received the information about the grade. Canvas doesn't have a way of distinguishing whether the score it's been communicated through LTI is through you completing it or through the instructor grading it. So the first moment it receives a score, that's what it records as the time when it was completed. So this time will always be the time when I graded it. So in some sense, you actually have more information than people used to have. I don't think in the past people really had the information on when I graded your assignment. Now you do. When you look at the submission time for your problem set assessment in Canvas, that's the time when I graded your work. So if I'm super late on grading, well, you will have documentation to show how consistently late I was. Not sure if that's necessarily a good idea for me, but you have it. Now, if you ever want you to prove, show on document for some reason that you did it on time, then the place where you should look is not the Canvas information, but the MyOpenMath information. So within here, the date and timestamp for the scored attempt, that'll always show you the time when you did it. So this was the last Friday during the virtual class session, part 1 of this demo. That's when I submitted it. This timestamp is still there, it's correct. And if you want to look at all the details, then you can go into review work in gradebook. There's a whole bunch of extra information here that you have access to as a student, and I also have access to. This screen actually looks really similar from your end and my end. The only difference basically is, I guess I got more menu items here that I can click, and I can change my own, this is my own feedback. So, so yeah, this part 2 of demo, I want you to do it separately so that like on a kind of sequenced way, so that I can highlight the fact that Canvas will tell you as its submission details the time that I graded, not the time when you submitted it. So yeah, so those late submission notifications you might receive, I don't think there's a way to disable it without affecting other things. It's just you'll just have to deal with it. There's no other. I guess, yeah. Any other kind of solution I can think of, it's gonna be too annoying for me. So, but I think as long as you understand that the time that Canvas has not your submission time but my grading time, then I think it's gonna be fine. It'll just something you have to get used to.